Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another best of 3 between in the top left spawning as our blue Terran player. It's Oliveira, and that can only mean one thing. In the top right spawning as our red Zerg, it is going to be Dark, a mainstay here on the HarstemCasts channel. I think in the past 5 weeks we've had at least 4 best of 3s or at least 4 games between these guys. They play each other an absolute crap ton in Kung Fu Cups and KSLs and EPT Opens, you name it, and they play it, and they often provide extremely fun games. Sometimes a little bit less so, but a lot of the times they're quite good. So this time we're playing Equilibrium. This is the first time that I've seen them play Equilibrium. I'm surprised by that, because this is considered to be, well, honestly, the best Zerg map in the entire map pool. Better than Rodhuset Station, which is the other map that a lot of Terrans consider to be very good for Zerg due to the ease of defending the initial 3-4 bases. Well, actually, just the ease of defending all bases, making it easy to just rush into any type of mass muta play. We see a triple CC coming out of Oliveira here with a semi-hidden third. This is fairly far off of where we'd usually see a third CC. In one of these two locations. Majority of the time, Stark doesn't really take a gold base quite yet. Very curious to see what's going to be kicking off in this game here. Gas mining continues at speed, starts at a pretty standard timing. Not a single creep tumor out yet. It means this was double inject, which is actually fairly rare to see. And actually double inject again here. Alright. I sadly am just not knowledgeable enough in the matchup to know what the benefits and the downsides are of double inject versus creep. Obviously, the upside of getting a faster creep tumor is that you have more creep. But there must be a reason why all high-level players, except for Dark apparently in this game, open up with a creep tumor in the natural or a creep tumor in the main, basically every single game as one of their first actions with one of the 2 queens. To see a Cyclone start as well. Ooh, double eBay. This is a cute little build order here, isn't it? This is real nice. Fast layer coming out of Dark. Couple of options here. Couple of options are available. Nidus seems somewhat likely, honestly. 41 drones are out. Lots of links are in production. Second gas now gets constructed. I'm a bit confused by that. I am just a little bit confused by that. What is that second gas gonna do? I guess you need it in order to afford some stuff. Lots of links are out, no Hellions to help out. And that means that these Cyclones plus Reaper are going to get blasted here. Double eBay is researching, but if you have no bio units, those upgrades are not going to help all that much. The follow-up is going to be, of course, that triple barracks here. Nidus network indeed goes down in the natural. It seems like Dark is getting ready to just straight up all in his opponent here with a very quick Queenling Nidus. This is a lot of links here in the early stages of the game. I'm not sure how suspicious this is, but I think Oliveira knows that something weird is happening here. He adds 4 barracks all at the same time. No starport quite yet. This was a 4 Cyclone into some type of 1-1 or 2-2 attempted timing. I think he's going to die to the Ling Flood before the Nidus Worm even has the chance of starting. Like, this is god-awful here for Oliveira, who just lost 5-6 workers, now gets that Nidus Worm up as well. Is this being spotted by the depot? It barely isn't. 3 more queens in production. There's already 8 queens out, so it's going to be 8 queens against a single Marine, and that Marine might even die before the queens show up to the party. Here they come, and this is looking so freaking bad. GG gets called instantly, and Equilibrium is a bad map for Terran, but usually it's bad because of the gold and the rich Vespine geyser, and because the map is fairly large, not because Ling Floods are unbeatable. A disappointing game number 1 there, although I like the attempt of the strategy out of Oliveira. The execution wasn't quite as hot. I'm also not entirely sure if I like the strategy. I love early Cyclone builds, but it does feel like that Cyclones always need to come in combination with Hellions, because Cyclones by themselves get surrounded so easily by links, especially pre-rapid thrusters, which is of course the movement speed upgrade for the Cyclone. It feels like they just can't fight links, especially if these links are in large numbers. This time Oliveira switching it up well, switching it up, going just for a more standard double barracks play here. It will be a triple or a quadruple or a quintuple or Reaper build over here into some type of 2-on-1 setup, most likely. I think this is what I've seen most often out of Oliveira, just those Reapers into a triple CC 2-on-1 type of build. Curious to see how Dark's going to be dealing with that. And so far, very standard hatch gas pool. Nothing to write home about quite yet. The sea monster is still running around over here. Beautiful little trick. There you go. Second depot is going to form a mire wall here at the ramp. It's kind of interesting that these guys have played each other so much as of late, and I still see, well, quite some variation in the build orders. Not like Oliveira took off for a little bit, you know, to maybe didn't play for a week or so, at least against Dark. I'm sure he was still practicing. Now comes up with some slightly different builds. I really hadn't seen that Cyclone into double eBay before. In general, I feel like double eBay builds are a little bit underrated. Their success rate, I think, is relatively high most of the time. And it feels like we hardly ever really see it. And the advantage is significant with those builds when it comes to the upgrades. Especially if you're playing against Bingling speed rushing Zerg players. Like, you have massive timing windows in which you're just going to be up upgrades. It's not like your eco sucks either. You do usually give up a little bit on your initial timing, but if you're good at denying scouting, Zerg is still responding to the potential of the timing being there. So yeah, I'm surprised not to see more of that. This Reaper actually getting way more done than it should. Got a Ling kill despite a 6-Ling opener. That is far from ideal there for Dark. Of course, 1 Ling is not the end of the world, but it's also not that great. It's not how you want the game to start, that's for sure. Overlord here is, I think, out of... No, it's barely in vision range, actually. So 3rd CC gets thrown down, and it indeed is 5 Reaper. It's going to be 6 Reaper, even. Very heavy commitment here towards the Reapers. We almost never see this. I think 5 is actually the max, what I usually see. And he's throwing his opponent for a little bit of a loop, perhaps. Continues attacking this hatchery. Dark now tries to hold this. Is fairly far off creep with these queens. Is going to lose the first queen if he ain't careful. And even if he is careful, he's going to lose that queen. Another grenade is going to hit the next queen. Royalty is getting taken out here very quickly. More grenades going down. It's the second time that Oliveira has hit himself with one of them. They're called C8 grenades or C9 grenades. 1 Reaper gonna get targeted down. Poor control here out of the Terran player. Dealing a lot of damage. And with a Reaper count of still 5, he's gonna get... Was this the second or the third? This was the 3rd queen. Link's very far away from getting speed still. Grenades here now. A little bit better. Hits himself once more. Keeps hitting himself in confusion. It's like he's being supersonic by a Zubat. Solid Pokemon reference. As, well, it's not quite over yet, this aggression. This is a nasty little area here that he can jump up and down. He's gonna get back down here. Will end up losing all of his Reapers. This is a bad situation, though, for Dark. I mean, let's face it, Dark really doesn't have a whole lot. Has no serious follow-up, no lair started, no Evo chambers. Non-existent queen count. This Overlord gonna get taken out. That's going to force him to build 5 more Overlords. Didn't force him to build 6 more Overlords. He's more than doubling his total Overlords. 7 Overlords. This is some absolutely atrocious macro here coming out of Dark. Legitimately atrocious. Look at this. He's gonna be floating some... Oh, I guess he isn't injecting. I was like, he's going to be floating a lot of larva, but he also lost all of his queens, so I guess that's not going to be much of an issue. Just now we see the first wave of inject, so maybe this was okay, but 65 out of 114, that is rough. That is rough, all right. It really is. It's not a great move. So I wouldn't mind seeing maybe like a fort base or something being added. I don't even quite know what Dark can do over here. Oliveira has a follow-up plan. He says, hey, your queen count is very low. What's good against Lings? Hellbats. So we see Hellion production practically constantly here coming out of this factory, as well as an armory being added in, delayed eBays. This is going to be a serious follow-up timing. This ain't no joke. Now, this is a commitment as well. This needs to deal damage. If we look at the numbers right now, I do believe this is going to deal damage. Usually we see a queen count of 9 or 10 with a couple of transfusers ready. Right now we're seeing a queen count of, I think we have 7 currently with 0 transfusers ready. So it really is a very different situation. If you have no transfusers, queens aren't quite as good. Like I said, usually we get like 2, 3, maybe even 4 transfusers in there. That really helps against these marine hellbat pushes. Hellions are going to start morphing into the hellbats. There's 6 hellbats. We have 2 medevacs. We have a bunch of marines out here as well. These lings aren't quite sure what they can do. Baneling's not available. First 2 queens will get sniped practically instantly. W gets called here as Oliveira takes game number 2 on Oceanborn. Game number 3 on Eloni starts with a little bit of Reaper harass. Once again, those double injects. This is now officially the dark standard. Still has I think a normal queen timing, a normal everything timing pretty much. Ooh, builds the Overlord in the natural. Don't show this to the other Zergs, they get upset. Zergs are they're very elitist when it comes to where they build stuff. Not elitist, they're very picky about where they build stuff. So you always want to be building links and overlords from your main base, ideally, right? Because your main is already saturated, and a drone that has to walk from your main to your natural mines less than a drone that spawns in your natural. So if you have to build 1 drone and 1 overlord, the drone should be built in the nat, and the overlord should be built in the main. Dark just built an overlord in the natural, and I can hear somewhere in Germany, like Lambo just, you know, like his heart starts beating faster and he starts just sweating all over his body. He's like, what's happening over here? And Oliveira is playing against Dark. That's what's happening. Oh, look at that. Same build as in game number 1 here. Exact same build is what it feels like to me. This time, however, it's going to be a Banshee Hellion opener with triple CC for Oliveira. Now, I'm not saying that's a better build order, but that is a significantly better build order. It really is. It's going to be much, much easier here to hold any potential Nidus worms, as long as he doesn't lose all of his cars for free. So far, he hasn't lost any of his cars, not for free or for a price, for that matter. A couple more queens on the way here. We'll see that second gas go down. It could also just be some insane Hydra rush. That would be so cool. If Dark would just build like a Hydra then as his base finishes. Doesn't attack with like 30 links and 6 Hydras. God, that would make me so happy. You guys have no clue. This is a really fast layer. And here comes the Nidus network. Okay, this time no second gas. I was already confused by it the first time. This Overlord's gonna get spotted by the Banshee as the Marines now start moving out. And Dark's going to be in this awkward position where he can't really put a Nidus over here. His second Overlord isn't quite in position either yet. This is just awkward all around, really. Loads of links are in production. 46 drones against 43. Practically full-on eco here for Dark when it comes to that mineral eco. Lacking, I think, 3 or 4 workers. This bad boy is about to make it into the main base, where there are currently 0 Marines in production, 0 spotters, no depot, no nothing. 81 out of 74 as Dark enters a bit of a supply block here. Has to add in a couple more Overlords. And this isn't getting scouted quite yet. Very, very frustrating here for Dark, who... for Oliveira, who does have the units, but not in the right positions. The wall gets broken down. Banshee helps out. Tank finishes up in the main base, though. Oh, links are running in. Will probably get the surround on this tank. Once again here, Oliveira in a world of trouble, losing the tank instantly. It's going to make these queens that much more effective against the Hellions and the Banshees. Lynx now, barely getting shut out of the natural. That is kind of big. There is no Nidus whatsoever in the natural base either. Overseer now moving over, wants to get it down there, of course, because that's going to be important. More links being produced behind this. 9 queens are out, 3 more on the way. This is going to be a bit of more of a queen attack than a ling attack. The links have been fairly useless against the Hellions. I guess they have sniped 1 tank. They're now going for a second tank and will barely not get it. That is a huge deal. It's going to help so much here with the damage output against these queens. The low ground meanwhile, single queen popped out as the links start working on this wall. Lots of cash in the bank for Dark, who is spreading some serious creep here in his opponent's main base. So this is aggressive creep spread if I've ever seen it, alright? This is some seriously aggressive creep spread. What is the production tab looking like? Okay, we see drones, as Dark has given up on his dreams of killing his opponent. He's just gonna stand around and Maybe just hang around for a bit, trying to figure out if he can deny the mining from the main base a little bit longer, perhaps maybe get a couple of SCV kills. He's going to lose some queens if he ain't careful, though, as he pops into the Nidus network. And now we'll have to deal with the reality of floating 1,300 minerals, as well as only being up 6 workers, having piss poor creep spread, no upgrade, against a player that has 1-1 already. Stim, combat shield on the way, like 2 tanks out. I believe that if Oliveira decides to move out here with a 1-1 timing plus combat shield, 3 tanks is all I'm asking for. 3 tanks, really. I just don't see how Dark is planning on holding that. I just don't get it. I don't understand where the opportunity is going to be for Dark to try and make a play. He's just in a god-awful position right now, and those are absolute facts. There are 13 queens, which is big, but having +1 on Marines and combat shield, that is also very big. Like, that's going to help so much against those queens, against them roaches. 28 Marines, 2 tanks, let's go. Set up, no combat shield quite yet, so there is still a timing window. This is also on the edge of creep. This is not actually that great of a position, I don't think. Dark with an absolutely insane surround here, coming from, well, like a 180 degree surround practically. This is a real nice fight here for Dark. Queens are dealing a lot of damage. Pre-combat shield, as mentioned, is a big deal as well. Marines still alive, trying to push in. Kind of disappointed to see this fight happen. Well, the majority of the fight without the combat shield. Now these Marines are still going ham, and Dark might just end up dying anyway, as this series feels like it's coming to an end with a filled Nidus network here out of Dark. And just in an overall pretty terrible position right now. Will survive for a little bit longer, but even in supply with roaches, this is practically an impossible to win position right now. We have 8 barracks going down already, so it's going to be an AGRESSIVE follow-up. I believe this is going to be for tech labs, by the way. Usually with AGRESSIVE we see these heavy marine plays and no add-ons on the extra barracks 6, 7, and 8. But I do believe that this is going to be a Marauder-focused AGRESSIVE. So that you also, yep, there we go. Marauders being produced, concussive shell. Yep, absolutely the case here. And then you hit with 2-2. You're going to hit like a freaking truck. And if there's one thing that humans are weak against, it is trucks. Trucks hitting humans usually doesn't quite end well for the human. And Dark, as far as we are aware, is indeed a human. Sometimes has some out-of-this-world play, but still a human just like us. Fort base on the way behind this, so this is a little bit less eco for Oliveira than he could have had, but he's going to allow him to really put on a lot of pressure with that +2. And otherwise, if you start with the fort base and then you get these barracks, I don't think you're getting a 2-2 timing. Well, you're still having a timing in which you have 2-2 and your opponent doesn't, but it's not quite as powerful. You're missing like 1 or 2 rounds of Marauders, which is going to be freaking huge against the roaches. Because let's face it, no Ling Bane means that these Marauders are going to just be dealing extra damage against anything that's tanking here, which is just mainly the roach. Infestors now popping out. That is a good move. I like that here out of Dark. I'm also a huge fan of the burrow play. Might allow him to make some sneaky little comebacks. Like, all you really need is 1 or 2 good fungals. Well, actually, I think he needs more than 1 or 2 good fungals. All Dark needs right now is 3 or 4 good fungals, really. And then the game might be even. Tunneling Claws finishes up right in vision of Oliveira, so he's probably going to throw down a couple of turrets here instantly. That's at least what I'd expect. Yeah, there we go. Turrets going down. Single roach is being sent out. I think more as scouting than anything else. And I do like that. A lot of vision on them roaches, huh? It's kind of sick. Disgusting. Ugh. Hate these guys. There comes a scan. A single roach goes down. That's an okay trade for Dark. He's like, hey, you waste a single scan for a single roach. Like, we can make that trade 5 more times if you want. I'm okay with that. Dark has managed to max out. Has an okay army, but he's going to need some absolutely magical fungals over here. Because Marines are going to rip through everything that is in a roach. What? That's a big fungal. That's a lot of biles. That's 3 big fungals there all at once. It's a lot of damage output coming in here. As +2 missile attacks is about to finish up. More biles raining down right now. Not the greatest control here by Oliveira, who is struggling to finish this game. Has started his +3 attack though. So it's not like this is an all-in. It's just a very committed pressure here. Two of the tanks are very far in the back. Ravagers try to deal some damage with piles. Not quite getting it though. As it does feel like Dark is still going to end up losing this game right here, right now. This fourth base under heavy pressure is going to die. Bottom base will be forced into a cancel. So it's going to be 4 versus 3 base. And that means that Oliveira right now in an absolutely fantastic position. Absolutely brilliant. Now Dark is the king of the comebacks, but even for Dark, this is going to be pretty difficult. This is a steep one, a very steep one. He's getting the Rich Vespine Geyser. That's nice. That's big. We see Ghost already popping out though. Like 6 Infestors versus 4 Ghost. We have 5 tanks out as well. Second factory now finally on the way as well. That is actually going to be huge. Just having that increased production on the siege tank. That is a very big deal indeed. As 3 hatcheries on the way at the same time for Dark. It's kind of cute as well. Huge fan of that. Double medevacs now moving towards the bottom side. Perhaps trying to take out this 6 o'clock base. Should be capable of succeeding. I'm surprised how close the supply is all the time, by the way. I don't quite understand that. I guess roaches are very supply inefficient. And if we take a look at the army value, actually... Nah, army value is like 2k more here for Oliveira. That does make some sense. This base is going to be an instant cancel. Dark doesn't even want to try. He's going to be forced to cancel this right side base as well, as he ain't in position. This is going to be a drop for sure. Yep, there you go. That base is toast. Absolutely toast. There's nothing you can do about it. A couple of drones are going to end up falling as well. So it will be 4 base versus 5. Still Oliveira with that lead in bases. As we have the muscular augments coming in right now as well. Couple more piles raining down from the sky. Snipe, snipe, snipe. And there we go. Perhaps this infestor can do something. There we go. Gets a big, big hit on a bunch of these ghosts, but Ace just looking so darn bad here. Right side is going to get cleared, but there are no bases available. Fourth base falls again. Dark still staying in this game, but it feels extremely over. I don't quite understand how he's planning on coming back into this. That's a big fungal though. That is nice. That is 3 ghosts that might end up falling, but at the same time Infestor's also being taken out. These are not like major wins, they're trades, and if you're being outmined as a Zerg, the last thing you want is trades. You just want to kill stuff with free fungal, or you want your opponent to accidentally move command into your 17 lurkers. Those are the things you want. And those are the things that are currently not really happening here for Dark. He's getting non-free trades. Has to pay for them all the time. Just doesn't have the cash available. Here comes another fight. As big lightning cloud actually do help out. 62 army supply to... Oh, actually. Dark is going to clean this up. Okay. Dark is going to clean this up. It's still 135 supply though to 107. If Dark had 90 drones behind this, I'd say this is playable. But he has 58 drones behind this. I'm not quite sure if it's still quite as playable here. Starts knocking down the rocks. Freaking love the grid though that the Dark is showing here. Saying, hey, as long as I have units, I'm in the game. As long as I'm in the game, I have a chance. As long as I have a chance, I'm not leaving. I feel like that's kind of the train of logic that's going on over here. These rocks are gonna get taken out. 2 more medevacs floating towards the fort base where the tanks and the ghosts are patiently waiting for the next order coming out of Oliveira. Just randomly stimming a bunch of marines across the map. It's looking so bad here for Dark. I'm not a fan. Poof. Liberator does get sniped. Quick response here. And if there's one guy that can do it, it's of course going to be Dark. But I'm not sure if there is one guy that can do it. I just don't think it's possible. Gold is going to help out though. I mean, that's a nice little boost there in income that he's going to get from that. Even on 68 workers, he's mineral outmining his opponent. +2 vehicle. Is that +2? Yeah, it's +2 of course. I see +1 here already. I wasn't sure if that was blue or not. It's not working as well as they used to back in the day. Double drops being sent out here. That's a mine drop. 4 mines. And on the other side we have an 8 marine drop. A couple of worker kills wouldn't hurt, I don't think so. 29 Hydras. He's legit massing Hydras. It's not an actual composition. It really isn't. You can't play with 3-3 Hydra. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. It's like I'm saying this because I'm a hater. I'm hating because this isn't a thing. That's it. I'm a hater for a good reason. Then you're not really a hater. Just a logical genius. That's why I am. Can't help it. 5 drones do go down here as the 4 mine drops going to hit at the bottom side. And that means more and more workers being taken out. At the same time, the 8 Marines hit the far left, where Dark wasn't quite ready to deal with this little drop right now. And this is just looking so freaking for Dark. Oliveira's playing a solid game, by the way. He's playing this out very well. He's saying, hey, constant pressure. I'm not allowing you to stabilize. And, well, he hasn't allowed his opponent to stabilize. These Hydras could just get sniped, by the way. It's not like they have any special properties that keep them safe here against those snipes. Fungal available. All he needs to do is hit those ghosts 5-6 times, get 25 extra drones. We might have a game on our hands. Actually, 165 supplied with 150. If Dark can break this one, he might actually be in a playable spot. Like legit. Are there any infestors still around? We have 1 infestor. It is borrowed. Yeah, the problem is he's losing so much pre-fight already. It's just going to be really difficult, I think. It's also a crappy position to have all your Hydras in. Manages to snatch a little ghost here with the Neural and gets an EMP down. Accidentally hit himself and none of the other ghosts. That's the one thing you usually don't really want. 14 more Hydras are in production as the gold base now gets taken out. It's freaking 6 base against 5. This is a bad sign as a Zerg player usually. Here comes the attack. 1 abduct and then the EMPs connect. Snipes coming in as well. G gets called by Dark as Oliveira wins this series. I think it's one of the first times I actually see Oliveira win this little matchup. Cool games actually. Nice strategic picks. I would have loved to see more out of that initial build by Oliveira. Wasn't quite the case though. Didn't quite get to see it because of that initial Nidus as well. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much and bye-bye.